YouTube, what is good, Bruv gang, what is good, and we are back with another video. So with the recent announcement of the Game of the Year Awards nominees, I thought this would be a perfect time to actually do my Game of the Year nominee voting live. So let's actually get straight into it, guys. This is going to be off the top of my dome. This is going to be done live, no script, no nothing. Of course, there'll be editing after as well. But let's get straight into my voting. So let's get straight into it, man. So of course we have the Game of the Year. So of course we have Alan Wake 2, we have Baldur's Gate 3, we have Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I will go off top straight away and say that I have only played one of these games on this list, and that is Marvel Spider-Man 2. And for me anyway, out of this list, Spider-Man 2 would probably take the cake and would be my vote for Game of the Year. Now, Super Mario Bros. Wonder I actually did want to get round to as well. There have been so many JRPGs dropping, so many games dropping in general anyway. Of course, we all know this. Baldur's Gate 3, sorry, should I say. Baldur's Gate 3 has actually been recommended to me very, very highly by a friend of mine in the community. Big shout out to my guy Savard Grimes. Of course, I'm going to be leaving his stuff on screen as well, so definitely check him out too. But big shout out to my guy as well. It's definitely a game I actually want to get round to checking as well. Alan Wake 2. The first one never really hit for me. I did watch a friend of mine play it. Big shout out to my guy, I am Urameshi. I will be leaving this stuff on screen as well. Gonna keep shouting out my guys as always. But Alan Wake 2, I probably won't get round to playing that one. I might watch it probably. There's actually been a lot of people talking how good this game is as well. Resident Evil 4. Now, if you guys know me well, I actually do stream scary games over on Twitch, and I will be leaving the link to that in the description, and of course I will be leaving it on screen too. Resident Evil 4 is definitely a game I want to check out, man. The Resident Evil remakes have been really, really well done, man. I actually played Resident Evil 2 on stream, and actually played Resident Evil 7. Don't quote me on that. It might be 7. But yeah, two great games again. Definitely want to get round to playing Resident Evil 4. And of course, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's actually a game I never got round to playing this year. I will get round to it at some point. I did really enjoy Breath of the Wild. I love Zelda games. I'm not a massive fan of Zelda games. I've always loved playing them casually over the years. But definitely my vote will go towards Marvel Spider-Man 2. An absolutely incredible experience, and a game that I just personally love playing, man, so much. It was such a good game. The way it was executed from the first game to now the second, and now it's set it up perfectly for the third game, man. Spider-Man 2, I beat that game within like 2 days, man. I actually no-life that game like crazy. The game was so good. So my vote will go to Marvel Spider-Man 2. So moving swiftly on, let's see what we got next. So we got Best Game Direction. So we got more of the same. We've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, of course, as I did mention previously, I've only played one game on this list so far. So Spider-Man 2 will of course get my vote for the Best Game Direction. So moving on, we have Best Narrative. We have again Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. We have Final Fantasy 16, Marvel and Marvel Spider-Man 2, sorry. So I will say for Best Narrative, now I do have my gripes with Final Fantasy 16, it has to be said. I did enjoy my time with the game, but there are some gripes that I did have with the game. It is something I do kind of want to save for a separate video, because it is kind of more of a thing where I do want to talk about a little bit more in detail. I did enjoy the story to an extent, but I can say the storytelling and the way the narrative was done on the game was amazing. So I actually will give my vote to Final Fantasy 16 on this one. So moving on, we have Best Art Direction. So again, we have Alan Wake 2, we have Hi-Fi Rush, we have Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this one right here, Hi-Fi Rush has to take the cake for me, man. The art on Hi-Fi Rush was amazing. I played that game via PC Game Pass, and man, that game was super underrated this year, man. Super underrated game. Definitely gonna give my vote to Hi-Fi Rush on this one. So moving swiftly on, we have Best Score and Music. Now, this one has actually caused a little bit of uproar on Twitter. And if you are a JRPG fan and you did play Octopath Traveler 2, and if you follow me on Twitter as well, I will be leaving my Twitter on screen and in the link down in the description box down below, sorry. You will know that there's been some uproar with best score in music, especially from JRPG fans, like I did mention. Octopath Traveler 2 had probably some of the best music to come out from this year, man, in terms of JRPG, should I say, and in terms of just games in general. I want to say, of course, there were other games out there as well that probably did have brilliant music on the game, but man, Octopath Traveler 2 unfairly snubbed in my opinion. I did actually say, I probably will be leaving a tweet on screen, but if not, I'll actually say to you guys. So basically, in my opinion, it might be an unpopular opinion, Final Fantasy 16's soundtrack was very mediocre in my opinion. The only real song that kind of really stuck out to me from that whole OST, I want to say, or the whole soundtrack, should I say, the one song that actually stuck out to me was actually the fight with Titan. That was the boss fight with Titan, and that music was hype. But throughout the rest of the game, there was a lot of unforgettable music throughout that game, man. A whole lot of unforgettable music. That's why I do think, in place of maybe Final Fantasy 16, I haven't heard any of the other songs, any of the other music from the other games here. Obviously, Hi-Fi Rush had some great music on there, of course. But just getting back to this, I want to say, I would probably replace Final Fantasy 16 with Octopath Traveler 2. Of course, as I said, it's an unpopular opinion. Most people do like the music in Final Fantasy 16, which of course always is incredible with Final Fantasy games, but I just feel like in general it had a lot of missed. A lot of the time there was a lot of music in the game that was kind of unforgettable. So with that being said, my vote will go to Hi-Fi Rush, but I do feel my actual vote would be Octopath Traveler 2 if Octopath Traveler 2 was on this list. So moving on, we have best audio design. So we have Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. Now, Dead Space is a game I actually did watch on YouTube. I watched a walkthrough. I watched a walkthrough on it on YouTube. Sorry guys, get my words muddled up. Of course, this off the top of my dome. So I did watch this on YouTube. I watched the walkthrough of it on YouTube, and I watched it with earphones in. Now, of course, it's a difference between playing the game and watching the game, but I felt super immersed and I wasn't even the one playing the game. Now, Dead Space is actually a game I do want to play on stream at some point, so you guys will definitely see me, so definitely check me out over on Twitch as well. I will be playing that game live for you guys one day, definitely. But sound design in that game is actually crazy, man. It's so crazy, especially in horror type games as well. Sound design is really important, man. I actually will, for this one, go with Dead Space for sure. Of course, I didn't play Dead Space, but as I said, I did watch a walkthrough of it, and man, the audio quality on that game is insane. So definitely I'm going to give my vote to Dead Space on this one. So next up is best performance. Now, I don't want to butcher anyone's names as well. We have Ben Starr from Final Fantasy 16. We have Cameron Monaghan from Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We have Idris Elba from Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. We have Melanie LeBird from Alan Wake 2, Neil Newborn from Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenhall from Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the name, so sorry about that. Now, Ben Starr was amazing as Clive on Final Fantasy 16. Absolutely incredible. He killed it, man. The emotion that he showed within that game, the voice acting in general, and just the acting in general on that game is insane. No matter what gripes I may have with Final Fantasy 16, I do want to say the actual voice acting, the performances from the voice actors was incredible in that game. You felt so much emotion from Ben Starr's Clive on that game, man. It was so good. Cameron Monaghan, that's my guy, man. If you guys know me well, I love Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, absolutely huge Star Wars fan, man. Jedi Survivor, I really enjoyed it. I do want to say I enjoyed Fallen Order more than I did Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor had some really nice gameplay improvements, I want to say. The story was still dope, and obviously, of course, did set up for the next game as well. But of course, this is about the voice acting performance. So Cameron Monaghan, he's the GOAT, man. He done his thing, definitely done his thing. Moving on to Yuri Lowenhall, if that's how you say his name. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing his second name. From Marvel Spider-Man 2, he was really dope as Peter Parker. He was really good, man. But I think on this one, I want to give my vote to Ben Starr, man. He done his thing. absolutely done his thing. So many people, especially in the JRPG community on JRPG Twitter, so much people talking about his performance, man. Putting clips up as well of him. Just the amount of emotion that he showed, and that's what I'm going to keep saying. The amount of emotion that he showed was incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. So I think I'm definitely going to give my vote to Ben Starr on this one. So moving on, we have innovation in accessibility. So we have Diablo 4, we have Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6. Now, of course, you guys know I've already played Hi-Fi Rush and Spider-Man 2, so I do think accessibility is a big thing with video games nowadays. And the amount of accessibility options within Spider-Man 2, I want to say in particular, was incredible, man. So many accessibility features, and it makes it so open for more people to play these games. Casually, hard, whatever you want to do, you can personalize your experiences as you go along, man. So definitely giving my vote to Spider-Man 2 on this one. So moving on to games for impact, we have A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Senna, Goodbye Volcano High, I don't know how you pronounce that. I think that's Shia, don't know how you pronounce that. Terra Nil Venba. So I've actually played none of these games, but I've heard great things about A Space for the Unbound. Big shout out to Backlog Battle. I do think he done a video on it. Don't quote me on that. I do believe he done a video on it. I think that's where I first saw it as well. But yeah, man, that game actually does look incredible. I definitely think I'm gonna vote for A Space for the Unbound, because that's the only one really on this list that I've heard about. So yeah, I'm gonna give my vote to A Space for the Unbound. So moving on to best ongoing, we have Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, we have Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. Now, Final Fantasy 14 I have not played in a very long time, but still one of my favorite MMOs, man. One of my favorite MMOs, such a great game. Genshin Impact, I played on and off. If you guys know me, I played Genshin Impact on and off so much. But now that Honkai Star Rail is here, I've actually moved on to playing that now. But I will say for best ongoing, I definitely have to give my vote to Final Fantasy 14, man, 100%. So moving on to best community support. Sorry about that. Moving on to best community support, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, we have Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. So, again, I've only played Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and a little bit of No Man's Sky as well. I actually finally did delve into No Man's Sky. Now, I know a lot of people's vote for this one probably actually would go to Baldur's Gate as well. I've seen so many great things about Baldur's Gate 3, man. I really want to get around to that game 100%. But I think my vote is definitely going to go to Final Fantasy 14 on this one. Definitely. The amount of community support that this game gets is really nice to see, man. For an MMO that's been out for quite some time now, it's always been supported well anyway in general, and the community on the game itself is really good as well, man. So I'm going to give my vote to Final Fantasy 14. So moving on to best independent game, we have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. Now, if you guys know me well, you guys know how much I love Sea of Stars, man. Sea of Stars was such a great game from this year, man. Such a great RPG. Of course, that's the only game on this list that I've played, and for me it beats out the competition by a long margin. I know I haven't played the other games, but for me, that's just this, for me personally talking as a JRPG fan, Sea of Stars just hit every single beat, man, for me. Definitely getting my vote for best independent game. So moving on to best debut indie game, we have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venbar, and Viewfinder. So I played none of these games. I think we can just skip on here. Can we skip? Yes, we can. So moving on to best mobile game, we have Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, we have Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I never knew there was a Hello Kitty game, that is pretty surprising. We have Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. Now, you guys know my vote will definitely be going to Honkai Star Rail, but I do want to say Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, I do have my gripes with that game. Maybe potentially might be saved for another video or a short or something, just a little rant maybe. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is okay in my opinion. It kind of just seemed like a little bit of a cash grab from Square Enix, and of course to milk the Final Fantasy VII IP as well. But I think my vote for best mobile game will go for Honkai Star Rail. Of course, I did actually start playing this game on PC, and then I moved over to the PS5 as well. So I'm really enjoying Honkai Star Rail. So that would definitely get my vote for best mobile game. So moving on to the next category, we have got best VR and AR game. We have Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR, and Synapse. So I have played none of these games. I do not play VR games, and I don't own anything VR. So we got to move on from this one. So moving on to best action game. This one I'm really excited to get around to as well. So we have Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. We have Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and we have Remnant 2. Now, for me, best action game, hands down, and probably the most underrated game from this year. If you guys know me well, you guys will know how much I've been talking about this game over on Twitter. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon caught me by surprise this year, man. And this is actually a game I really want to do a separate video for, just to give this game the limelight and so much shine as well, man. The shine that it deserves as well. Prior to Armored Core 6, I had heard about the Armored Core games, but never had delved into them really. I'm not a huge mech fan. I enjoy mech anime. I've watched mech anime in the past, like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Gurren Lagann, for example. Those are some really great ones, and of course Gundam Wing as well. But Armored Core 6, man, I never thought that I would kind of like get addicted to a From Software type of game. Like the game just caught me by surprise, man. I found myself on that game every single day. I think I've amassed like 40 to 50 hours on that game, just doing so much customizable stuff, going through the story. The story itself starts out as something that I thought was background, but going throughout the game I was like, nah man, this story is actually crazy. The story is actually crazy. So Armored Core 6, if you guys have not played Armored Core 6, that is a game that I highly recommend, man. Probably one of the most underrated games that I played throughout this whole year. JRPGs aside, any game aside, the most underrated game that I played, and in my opinion, I would have loved to see it be nominated for Game of the Year 100%, but definitely my vote for best action game will go to Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. So moving on to best action adventure game, we have Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we have The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom yet again. So best action adventure will be a toss-up for me personally between Spider-Man 2 and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, I absolutely love the open world elements of both Jedi Survivor and Spider-Man 2, man. I just love exploring in Jedi Survivor, or in the Star Wars games in general, Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order as well. Just me being a big Star Wars fan especially, but I do want to say Spider-Man 2, man, as the best action adventure game that I played from this year, it definitely has to be Spider-Man 2, man. The story was amazing, the gameplay was amazing, just the traversal as well, man. Just being able to just swing around New York City was amazing with both Spider-Men as well. The amount of stuff that they added to the game from the first game, making the game a little bit more easier to play as well in certain aspects from the first game, was a big step up. So I'm definitely going to give my vote to Marvel Spider-Man 2. So moving on to my favorite category of them all, we have best RPG of the year. So we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. Now, I do want to say, because I did say this last year kind of briefly, I do wish that they would kind of separate best RPG and best JRPG. I do kind of wish they would do that, because there have been so many amazing JRPGs from this year that haven't really got that much spotlight. Now, I know there is obviously controversy with people talking about the term JRPG and whatnot. I'm really not all into that type of stuff. You either have Western RPGs and you have Japanese role-playing games. It's one out of the two, man. A lot of the time for these votes, a lot of Western RPGs will get the vote for this or get the nod for this. I want to say it's really nice to see Sea of Stars voted within this, man. Really nice to see, man, especially from Sabotage Studio, amongst some big hitters like Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, and of course Starfield. My vote, for me personally, most people might, as from a JRPG perspective, I think most people might say Final Fantasy 16, but my vote personally will go to Sea of Stars, man. Just as a RPG experience, of course, you kind of get that RPG experience with Sea of Stars. It kind of feels like an old school JRPG in that regard. Starfield I did play for about 20 hours, I want to say. Starfield didn't really hit the right notes for me personally, as someone who actually loves, I'm actually infatuated with space. If you guys didn't know that, I love space, man. So it was okay in my opinion, but if I'd played Baldur's Gate 3 maybe, and maybe Lies of P, maybe that might sneak up there for me personally. But I do definitely want to say Sea of Stars, man, hit all the right notes for me personally as a JRPG fan, so that's definitely going to get my vote. So moving on to the next category, we have best fighting game. So this one I'm not really inclined to talk about because I don't really play fighting games too much. So you guys can let me, anything that I've skipped over, you guys can let me know down below in the comments. If you choose to, because I know some people like to keep their votes under wraps and don't really want to tell anyone, but yeah, best fighting game, can't really talk about that one too much. I don't really play fighting games per se. I've always played them casually over the years, but I kind of really stopped around Tekken 5, I want to say. So fighting games in general is not really my thing. But yeah, you guys can let me know down below if you choose to, what your vote would be for this one. So moving on to best family game. So sadly, none of these games I've played. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is actually the one that I really wanted to get round to. I will be picking it up at some point because it is super cheap over on Amazon. But yeah, I will be getting around to Super Mario Bros. Wonder at some point, man. Just as soon as I've cleared some of these JRPGs that have come out. There's been so many that have come out, man. With work and all being so busy for me personally. So Star Ocean, the second story R, is actually a game that I'm currently playing, trying to work through that. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is actually a game on this list out of the games that you see here, is the one that I do want to play. So as I said previously, if you guys want to let me know down below what your vote would be for this one if you choose to. So moving on to best sim and strategy. So we have Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, we have Cities Skylines 2, we have Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. So this one was a big toss-up for me personally, between Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp and Fire Emblem Engage. Now, I want to say Fire Emblem Engage, I absolutely loved, man. There was actually certain people I was seeing kind of giving Fire Emblem Engage a kind of hard time. It was getting a bit of flack over on Twitter, I want to say. For me personally, I enjoyed the hell out of Fire Emblem Engage. I want to say the story wasn't the most amazing. The story was okay in my opinion, but just from a gameplay point of view and from a gameplay aspect, man, I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of this game, man. So good. It was so well done. Really enjoyed Fire Emblem Engage. So that's definitely going to get my vote for best sim and strategy game. So moving on to best sports and racing. So if you guys know me well from my community, big shout out to the Soul community and my community as well, you guys would know I do not play, well now it's called EA Sports FC now, I do not play FIFA, or that's what it's called now, it's called EA Sports FC, but of course I know it as FIFA. We all know it as FIFA, really and truly. Of course, no name change is really kind of gonna make people refer to it as the newer name, but that's besides the point. You guys would know, if you know me well, I don't really play sports games per se as much as I used to. Mainly FIFA. I used to play with my guys playing pro clubs and stuff, but yeah, I've kind of dropped that. F1 I used to play long time ago when I was younger. Same with Forza as well, and same with Gran Turismo as well. I used to play a little bit of those games when I was younger, but FIFA being the main one, don't really play these games per se. So again, if you guys want to let me know down below, if you guys care to share your vote, share down below what your pick would be for this category. So moving on to best multiplayer, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So sadly, again, I'm not inclined to talk about this, which is a bit sad. I know some people might be like, oh, you should play these games. I know there's been so many games that have come out, but as someone who plays a lot of JRPGs, of course there is a lot of games on this list that I have missed out on. Baldur's Gate 3 being the main one here, and of course Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is a game I really want to get round to as well, and I've heard some great things about it too. So again, let me know down below what your vote would be for this category. So moving on to best adaptation, we have Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. So the Super Mario Bros. Movie for me was amazing, incredible, man, and it's a no-brainer for me. I like The Last of Us. I actually like The Last of Us. I actually watched The Last of Us with my partner. My partner has no clue about The Last of Us, and she actually enjoyed it too, for the little bit that we did watch. So I want to say Super Mario Bros. Movie, 100% for me, man. That's gonna get my vote, definitely for best adaptation. So moving on to most anticipated game. Now I do want to say most anticipated game again, referring back to JRPG Twitter again. Kinda did have some problems and some issues with most anticipated game, because I don't know, for me personally, of course this is all about interpretation and what the masses would basically vote for. So I would kind of like to see Persona 3 Reloaded on here, and I would like to see Grand Blue Fantasy Relink on here as well, as opposed to Star Wars Outlaws, and I'm a big Star Wars fan as well, as opposed to Star Wars Outlaws. But of course this one would obviously be a toss-up for me between a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is going to be a super slept on game, man. That's all I can say, 100%, and it will be a game I will be getting around to, man. But for me personally, as a big Final Fantasy VII fan, and of course I absolutely love Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth I am looking forward to so much. Of course in that February slot, man, where there are so many big hitters coming out at the same time. As JRPG fans, I don't know how the hell we're going to play all these games. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is definitely going to get my vote for this one. So moving on to Content Creator of the Year. Personally, I don't watch any of these guys, so you guys can give me your vote down below if you want to. So moving on, we have Best Esports Game. None of these games sadly I play. I actually did dip my feet into Valorant and of course League of Legends. If you guys know my personal story of League of Legends, I won't be sharing it on this video because it's actually a pretty bad story. But Valorant I did play sparingly here and there. Yeah, the game's just not for me. But yeah, you guys can let me know down below if you guys do play any of these games, what your best esports game is. So moving on to the next category, we have esports athlete. Again, I do not watch any esports, I haven't heard of these guys. Esports team, again, haven't heard of any of these guys. Well, I've heard of some of these guys, I just don't watch esports in general. So yeah, esports coach again. Esports event, sorry I had to skip over that, guys. But I think that is all of, I think that might be all of them. Hold on, do I need to vote for anything? Let me just go with Evo here. I think that may be it. So I got a 4 of 4. I think that's the end of it anyway. But I think that's the end of the voting process here. I believe so. That might be it. Let me check. Yeah, that might be it. Alright, cool. So that was my votes for the Game of the Year Awards 2023, man. I cannot wait to see who wins on December 7th. So please let me know down below in the comments, man, if you feel or if you choose to, what your vote for Game of the Year is going to be as well. And of course, I actually do want to leave this with you as well, guys. So definitely let me know down below in the comments what your JRPG of the year is. I will be of course making a separate video just like I did last year of my top 5 JRPGs from 2023, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I will be recording some more videos pretty soon as well. I know I've been gone for a little while, of course work has just been super busy for me. But yeah, if you guys do actually want to catch me anywhere else as well, catch me live, definitely watch me over on Twitch. I will be leaving the link to that down below in the description as always. So yeah, definitely check me out over there. So as always, please like, sub, share if you're new, hit that notification bell to get notified of my videos first, and I hope I can be you guys' #1 source for all JRPG news. So from me too, this has been your bruv, the big bruv, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next video. I'm out. Peace.